So I'm not sure why, but I have a very great feeling that I'm going to be heavily criticized for this video, but that's fine. Because me, I'm used to everybody says, oh, we should not judge each other. We should never judge each other, but I'm always the first person that they judge. So, as the title says, what is life from a 20-year-old? I think the first impression that most people are going to have on me is like, okay, look at this little cholo kid in his FB County. Like, what? Like, what is he going to tell me that I don't already know? Well, it's up to you. So click off this video or stay on it. That's not my choice. Now, first of all, I think the first question I want to answer, that I would like to answer, is why do I feel like I'm a suitable candidate to even give an opinion on this? Well, I believe that I've experienced more life than the average 20-year-old. I believe everything I've been through, probably on a scale of maturity and wisdom, or whatever you want to call it, puts me at just slightly above average of people who are 20 years old currently. And I definitely believe that there's more 20-year-olds out there that have been through a lot more than me, but they may not be as fortunate as I am to sit in front of a $6,000 camera, lighting equipment, and have a platform to speak on. So I believe I'm gonna try my best to speak on behalf of those people that I may not even know, may not even ever meet in my life. Some of you may be watching. Now, quick recap if you don't know who I am, or maybe this is the first time you're seeing me. So this is a series I do, right, where I talk about my life and what I've learned and taken away from my experiences. So to recap quickly, this is episode number 3 in the last 2 episodes. Episode 1, I explained the death of my mother. She passed away from colon cancer a long time ago. Dad was in prison for 13 years of my life. So I grew up with no mom or dad, grew up with my grandma. My sister's been shot. She survived, but it was still a very big learning experience for me for sure. Brother passed away, and I've been through religion. I've been through therapy. All that to me personally is bullshit. I promise I don't mean to disrespect anybody when I say that, but from my personal life experience, that's what it taught me, that therapy and religion are bullshit to me. So now, why do I want to make a video like this? Why don't I just sell out like these other 20-year-olds that are streaming? I mean, you got Speed, you got Neon, you got Aiden Ross that are there. I mean, they're not exactly 20 years old, but they're in their 20s or around my age, my generation, right? That are just, partying with OnlyFans models, gambling, playing video games, and doing whatever it may be, nothing productive, and they're paid in full. They're rich, 10 times more money than me, and I could very easily do something like that. I just wouldn't be content with myself, and I'd rather die broke, at least knowing I spoke the truth. And I'm gonna have a more definite answer for that question as we go by. So, first question, what is life? I'm going to have 2 subcategory questions to this video. Now, I need to put down my cup of coffee for this, right? My 2 subcategory questions are going to be, when you die, what do you take with you? What do you leave behind? Those are some more questions I'm going to be going over. Now, another reason I want to make this video is because throughout my personal life experience, I know other people can learn from as well. And I know there may be even people that are older than me that could take away something from this. I confidently believe that. And I know on the other hand, there's going to be people that have been through way more than me that are going to be looking at me like a waste of time, and that's perfectly fine. I really don't blame you. But further on, I believe it was Joseph Stalin who said, a fool is going to learn from his own mistakes, but a wise man's going to learn from others' mistakes. And that's not to say that I've made a lot of mistakes. I was just put into this world, and my brother, my mother, my father were taken from me. I had a lot of things that wouldn't really be considered my fault at a glance. But if you guys watched the first episode, I explained how it was all my fault. Because if you take accountability for everything, then you really grow as a person. So moving on, what is life? Now I'm going to give you a very short answer in one sentence and this one I believe was Albert Einstein who said, if you cannot explain it simply, then you simply don't understand it, right? Throughout my very short time on this earth, right, I strongly believe that life is a test. Now, I could either say life is a test or life is war. I strongly go more lean towards the side of life is a test. Now let's dive into this. What is life? Everything that you go through, everything that you suffer, why do we experience war? Why do we experience famine? Why do we experience death? Why do we experience pain, sadness, emotions? Why is it that even though we are told to believe that we came from monkeys millions and millions and millions of years ago, and we're in space hurtling through this vast, empty nothingness through millions of miles an hour, but yet we're able to experience emotions such as sadness, happiness, rationality? Why hasn't a meteor hit us yet and just killed us all? What are the chances of that? Or what are the chances of you existing? What are the chances of you watching this video right now up until this very moment? I definitely 100% believe we were created, and we were created with a purpose, because as I just said, you look at everything. How are we able to experience things such as rationality, love, emotions, etc.? What is your purpose? Now, I believe strongly that we each and every single one of us have our own purpose, but I do believe we all have a very similar generalized purpose, and I think that would be to experience bad, to experience evil, to experience suffering, to experience sadness, because out of that you learn to enjoy happiness. Me personally, I don't ever recall a time in my life where I was very happy and I learned something. I was just happy. But yet I look back at all the bad times and I can sit here for days and talk about the things that those taught me. When dealing with this question, what is life, you have to ask very, very, very common, I want to say common questions, very general questions. Why do we exist? Let's say if God is real, if heaven and hell are real, why does hell even exist? Why are we not just born into perfection? Now, why are we put here on earth and we experience things like pain and sadness and all that just to one day maybe make it to heaven or hell or whatnot? So now if you think about it, right, I know from doing my research and reading the book, the Bible, that heaven was created, right? Now, this is a little tricky because things such as that exist outside of time. So this was before we ever existed, but it also exists outside of time. Now, God was once upon a time, and he creates angels. He also creates one angel that was known as the Anointed One. Then eventually he creates Earth. And I believe I'm getting this timeline correct. He creates Earth, right? Now keep in mind, heaven, right, is perfection. There's nothing wrong. It's actually so perfect that we as humans can't even fathom. Like, we don't even understand we exist in a trinity of trinities known as, which I'm sure you guys have heard this before. If not, I'm probably about to blow your mind. But we exist within a trinity of trinities, which is time, space, and matter. So time It's a trinity of trinities. Time is a trinity of past, present, and future. Space would be known as the XYZ axis, right? Because you have depth, height, and width. Then matter is solid, liquid, and gas. But now heaven and hell and things such as that exist outside of all of that. And I believe they exist probably within a fourth dimension, because as you know, we exist in a third dimension. Now in a third dimension, you're able to see the second dimension and the first dimension, but you're not able to see more than that. You're not able to see a fourth dimension. So I believe they probably exist within something that's in the fourth dimension, because they are absolutely on the outside looking in, such as, you know, we cannot see them, but they can see us. And the more and more I talk and I hear myself talk, I believe that this is probably the most smoked out thing that anybody's ever said. So I do want to give a fair disclaimer that I do not smoke or drink. I am as sober as can possibly be right now. They exist in a very, 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 very extremely perfect realm. Let's just say that, realm, right? Yet one day, I'm just going to say that for lack of better words, but one day, this anointed one decides to try and steal the throne of God, the Most High. Okay. After that, he falls from heaven like a bolt of lightning. And for those of you watching, I have a question for you. Where did he fall? I won't answer that question. Maybe in the future, maybe not. He decides to be separated from God, even though he was perfect and he lived in a place that was perfect, and betrayed God. Okay. Then it says also that 1/3, so it's a fraction, 1/3 of the rest of the angels who are also perfect and live in a perfect place decide to go with him. That's strange. That's weird. Now 1/3, what number is that? Nobody, I don't know. It could be millions, it could be billions, or it could be trillions, or it could be more than that. Who knows? But they also choose to be separated from God and everything perfect. That's kind of weird when there's probably so many people out there that are like, oh, why did my mom have to pass away? Why did my dad have to go to prison in the most important years of my life? Why did my brother have to be taken from me? Why am I born here on this planet at this time, experiencing everything bad? Why can't I just be born into perfection and we don't experience anything bad? Yet, when we have the most intelligent beings ever, far beyond our imagination could really grasp, that chose to be separated from that. It almost even, it even throws, like, as I'm talking, it's even confusing me. Like, it's strange, right? So they choose to be separated. Now, Adam and Eve, the first two humans to exist on planet Earth, right, were actually also built into perfection, yet they're on Earth. And we all know how the story goes. They chose to pretty much disobey God, and so now we all know the story, and if you don't, I'm gonna repeat it. Adam and Eve eat the fruit which contains the knowledge of good and evil. It's not an apple, by the way, so whoever says it's an apple, it's not true, because it's never been confirmed that it was an apple. But we know that they eat a fruit that teaches them the knowledge of good and evil. Now I have another question for you. What was the first thing that Adam and Eve noticed after they ate of that fruit? They realized that they were naked. That's very strange. I can't even explain that. It somehow makes sense, but then again, it doesn't. And now we know that ever since then, we live in a fallen world where sin is now possible because we now have the knowledge of good and evil. We now are able to make evil choices, do evil things. Okay, so now we take a step back and we look at everything, right? So pretty much everything ever was perfect, and we all chose not to be. Okay. The Most High knows, he knew that I can't build them into perfection because they're going to choose to do wrong all on their own. But yet I'm going to build them into perfection anyways, just to show them that they cannot be built into perfection. They need suffering and this and that to understand how things work. So now we are put into somewhere that's in the middle, where we experience bad and good. Now we're not put all the way on hell, but we're not put in heaven. Although, if you do know where the devil fell, then I would say that we are closer to hell than we are to heaven, for sure. But we know that God was lonely, and that's why he created angels and Adam and Eve and so on and so forth. But they all left him and they all disobeyed, chose to do that. So now us humans are being put somewhere in the middle where we are given free will, which, yes, I do believe in free will, although it is hard at times to believe it, because I do believe that maybe 75% of what we do is not even our own choice, and we are heavily influenced by outside forces. But that's like a whole nother subject. So we're put somewhere in the middle where we can make our own choices, choose to do good, choose to do wrong, but you're gonna see ugliness no matter what, because you can only learn from bad. Now, if there's anybody out there watching this that disagrees with me, please let me know. I'd greatly appreciate it. We make our own choices. We can choose to do good or do wrong. And life is very short, so it's a very short test. We come here, we do what we gotta do, and then we leave. So now, I'm going to ask the first question. What do you leave here on earth? So as we all know, we always hear the saying, you don't take anything with you. So what do we leave? Now, I believe the two things that we truly leave, and it's going to sound very corny because I really think it doesn't get any more realistic than what Scarface said in the movie. Besides, all you have in this life is your balls and your word. Because you procreate, you leave behind other humans to learn and grow and do whatnot. And your word, because your word is the closest you have to another seed that you can plant into people's minds. What I'm doing right now is a form of that. And that's why I feel motivated to do things like this and make videos like this, because I know that I'm going to leave this here when I'm gone. For example, I know that if I were to fall asleep tonight and slip into eternity, because it could happen to any of us, not to be paranoid or nothing, but it could happen to any of us, I would be I don't want to say I would be content, because I know I still have a lot of things I have to do in my life, but I still know I did something for sure, because I spoke life to people. I spoke positive messages to people. I passed on knowledge. I passed on wisdom, love, I know I've touched a handful of people's hearts. And I know that I didn't sell out like these other people my age that are just streaming, committing a bunch of degeneracy, and doing all of that. Now, on the other hand, what do you take with you? So now I believe what we do take with us, whether we go to heaven or we go to hell, I personally believe that there is a heaven and hell. I believe what we take with us are the things that we learned from experiencing everything evil. Because let's say you die, you make it into heaven, now you live in a perfect universe. You'll never leave that perfect universe, such as the angels did, such as Adam and Eve did, because you already went through bad. Why would you want to leave that now? Now you've earned the trust of God, and I believe that that is the test that we're all put here to do. Now, what will we do in heaven? I don't know. It's hard to even fathom a life without anything bad or any suffering or any struggle. Now, I believe that I've done enough talking for this video, this episode. I actually would like to share one final message, and I feel the need to share this because I feel so foolish that even at this point in my life, even through all the loss that I've already suffered, that I'm experiencing this. But I would like to share and also dedicate this video to my Uncle Mike, also known as Big Mike, who recently passed away a couple weeks ago. And the thing that hurts me the most is that I did not talk to him one last time. Isn't that a shame? Out of everything I've been through, you would imagine that I would have learned that by now. But yet I didn't, and I took it for granted. As I said in episode 1, if my mom was here, I'd probably be taking her for granted. But anyways, I just want to say thank you to my Uncle Mike. He always put a youngster onto game, and I wish that I could have given you one more phone call or saw you one more time and talked about whatever. And it hurts me that I didn't do that when I could have. It was a couple of buttons away. I had your phone number and I didn't do it. And I hope that you watching this today, if maybe there's a person out there that you haven't talked to in a while that was there for you, I just want you to think twice about reaching out to them. And it's not even like you got to be like, oh, I love you, I miss you so much. Like, just talk about whatever. But anyways, I will be expecting my Uncle Mike up there one day. And until then, I will hold it down here and continue to make videos like this and make those people happy for me and happy what I'm doing with my life and my choices. And other than that, I hope this video was not too long. I hope I did not ramble too long, and I hope it was very easy to digest for you. And anybody out there watching, feel free to disagree with me. Let me know in the comments. And I hope each and every episode of this series gets better and better. And like, subscribe if you liked it. Be expecting more videos like this. And yeah, that's all I can say. Just I hope God blesses you guys with wisdom and knowledge. And that's it. Now, when I look at my life at a blur, I always used to kind of pray to God. Whatever God meant to me at that time, I always used to pray to Him and kind of say, why? And it's almost like sometimes I think of God from His point of view, and it's like He's asking me, why do you think you're suffering so much? Why do you think I took your brother from you? Why do you think I took your mother from you? Why do you think I took your father from you? Do you think I did all of that in vain? Do you think any of that will be in vain if you succeed? If you succeed, is it really a sad story? It's a sad story now, but is it really sad if you succeed? Or is it more sad if you live a life of degeneracy? Nobody remembers you. You didn't leave behind no seed. What's more sad? Will you pass the test or will you fail the test? Do you think I just did that to you and put you through all of that for nothing? I want you to ask yourself that question. And other than that, I have no more words. I just want to thank you all for watching if you made it this far. And God bless you.